Hello and welcome back. I am Allen Werner, author of the epic dark fantasy series, The Crystal Crux. We are going to continue reading from the first book, Betrayal. Um, as we read in the chapter before this, Rugerius, as a boy, is had a very rough time, and this new kid named Burgess is trying to make friends with him. And they basically have gone out into the fields to a farmhouse to um, go after a man who has been doing some very bad things to Rogerius. So here we go. Chapter 8, Farmhouse. At the farmhouse, a shoddy thatched one-room building leaning to the south, Burgess and Rugerius crept around to the backside of a ramshackle shed. Burgess pointed his Cius towards a rolling field where a dozen unshorn sheep stood and grazed. That's, that is Elysium, my friend. Later tonight, Dejaro will wander out there with a bottle in hand. The shit-faced fathead will sing a stupid little tune before passing out. The boys sat down near one another with their backs against the shed. The hovel was a short distance away, and they could hear the grunt-filled noises of a man's purchased lust being satisfied. Burgess quipped, "That's him." The boys talk about how Burgess came to know of this place. And then, before the boys could snicker and enjoy the moment, the air abruptly changed. The sounds of ecstasy deteriorated into a noise of war. The door of the house flew open, and Dujaro stumbled out, his breeches about his ankles. A viperous woman nursing a freshly swollen black eye poked her head out the same door and screamed, "Get the fuck out of here! God damn it! Don't ever come back! I hate you, Dujaro!" The irate troll, her hair as black as midnight, slammed the door shut. Dujaro laughed her curses off as he pulled his pants up. His bumbling fat feet weaved a protracted path around the unkempt yard. "Oh, woman," he loudly slurred, "as long as I bring you coin, you will see me." Swigging back deeply from a liquor jug, the obese drunkard approached the sheep pen. The boys leaned back into the shadows and permitted his heavy stagger to pass. As prophesied, the intoxicated Spaniard spooked the bleating sheep in the pasture as he entered their domain, singing, "O Venus, you love, you charming sweet dame, smile and kneel, afford entertain. Touch not my soul, but arouse this old flame. Kiss me, inhale me, be not ashamed." He managed to venture out about 25 yards before swooning down in a tall patch of grass. Rogerius Fabro and Burgess of Brindisi stared at one another. This was it. Equally mindful of this premeditated opportunity, the boys brandished their hallowed knives and smiled with forsaken souls. "Tonight," Rogerius exclaimed, "we become brothers." Burgess beamed as shamefully as the crescent moon crowning their heads, its unholy glow hovering near like an evil nimbus. All Burgess had contrived to accomplish would soon be achieved. Rugerius Fabro, the talented and villainous youth without a friend in the world, trusted him. They were going to be blood brothers. Like flitting ghosts, the boys sped out into the field and descended upon the tall grass. Rugerius was much quicker and more resolute. He arrived first and found the babbler lying on his back, still mumbling his bawdy tune. He knelt beside the pederast and punched him hard in the arm to get his attention. Dejaro squinted through his stupor. "Ah," he garbled, finding a sly smile. "If it isn't my little bastard." The depraved drunkard offered the boy an unsteady drink from the bottle. "Thirsty?" Burgess plopped down on the opposite side of the Spaniard's prone body as Rogerius answered Dejaro's invitation. "I am thirsty, but not for wine. How's your blood taste?" There was a brief but bright streak of light that passed between them. Young Rugerius had swung his Sikhs so quickly, so sharply, no one was sure he had moved. The metallic edge had moved, and it had made contact with the man's pudgy hand. Two fingers slowly slid away, causing the bottle to topple off into the grass. Startled, injured, Dejaro started to feel the pain and screamed. I'm going to feed you to the sheep, you son of a bitch. Rogerius skillfully flipped the dagger up in the air, caught it, and spun it around his fingers and drove the point into Dejaro's chest. Burgess, chuckling, stuck out his tongue as he dragged the edge of his dagger sharply across the pedophile's enormous belly. The slimy contents of the Spaniard's stomach began to spew out of the wound. Gujaro howled for mercy as the boys slashed indiscriminately at various parts of quivering flesh. Bedewed with blood, the gruesomeness of the boys' deviltries continued to escalate. The story then goes on being a lot more descriptive of what the boys do until Dejaro actually dies. The boys are excited and relaxed at the death until they hear the woman screaming from her house because she heard the noises out there and she wasn't sure what was happening, and she's yelling for Dejaro to come back and he can come back in the house and everything. But um, now they have to decide what they're going to do because she's calling for them. But they decide to run into the house and molest her, and so they go ahead and do that. They darted to the house, and this is what happens at the end. Before the sun rose the next morning, the culprits were gone, and the tortured woman died. It was a dreadful and gory scene for the law officials in the district to discover a few days later. Their sluggish, incompetent investigation came up empty. The atrocity was chalked up as a heated quarrel, a lover's triangle simply gone wrong. She was a prostitute, and Dejaro a trivial brewery servant. No one really cared that they were dead, and no one suspected the boys. For Rogerius Fabro and Burgess of Brindisi, everything had gone to plan. Sacrificing the pedrist with their own hands made them feel like soldiers. Fornicating with a resistive older woman made them feel like men. Sharing these secrets made them feel like brothers. Mission accomplished. So we'll end the reading there. Two announcements for people to keep in mind. The book Betrayal is still currently on sale right now. The Kindle and paperback versions are on sale, and that's until the end of the year. And then also, we are having a special sale on Blue Grotto, the second book in the series. It will be available on Kindle only for free from December 20th to December 22nd. So if you've got a chance, go ahead and pick it up. It will be free on Kindle. And when you get a chance, read it and leave a review and let me know what you think. That's the second edition of Blue Grotto. So until next time, keep reading, stay inspired. Goodbye.